A unique African civilization, the city of Great Zimbabwe, 11th through 15th centuries. In context, location Southern Africa, before 300 to 650 CE, Golkomir and Ziwa cattle herders settle in the region. Circa 700 CE, copper and gold are mined in southern Africa. Circa 890 CE, the region's earliest known kingdom, Mapungubwe, begins to flourish. After, circa 1450, the new city of Kami becomes the capital of a breakaway Torwa dynasty. 1629, the Portuguese forced the Matapa ruler to sign a vassal treaty. 1871, geologist Karl Mach plunders Great Zimbabwe. 1980, after nearly 100 years of British colonization and rule, independent southern Rhodesia is renamed Zimbabwe. 1986, the city ruins become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of the most significant ruins in sub-Saharan Africa is a hilltop fortress of stone overlooking an enclosure that, in medieval times, houses many people as the city of London. From the 11th to 15th centuries, Great Zimbabwe, its name derived from the Bantu Zimbabwe Bawe, houses of stone, was the beating heart of the vast Munhumutapa Empire, the territories that make up modern-day Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, and South Africa. The empire established its hegemony over the region in the 12th and 13th centuries by placing it under a rule of Umutapa, the regional equivalent of a Caesar. The inhabitants of the region were Shona people of Bantu origin, cattle herders and farmers who in the dry season mined and panned iron, copper, and bronze, and gold sourced from the rivers to the north. Great Zimbabwe's location on the shortest route between traders on the east coast and goldfields contributed to a rise into power built on trade in ivory, metals, and most importantly, gold. Chinese celadon dishes, glass from the Middle East, peanut bowls from Persia, and Arab coins found at the site reveal the city's reach across the Indian Ocean. In decline as a capital by the mid-15th century, the city was steadily plundered of riches that detailed the Shona way of life, but historians make comparisons with Mapungubwe in the Shashi-Limpopo region, which also flourished through gold trading. This was the civilization that represented the highest achievement of Bantu-speaking people in this part of Africa. Stan Mundenje, Zimbabwean politician, born 1941, died 2012. Masonry skill. With massive stone walls up to 27 feet thick in places, Great Zimbabwe's hilltop acropolis was the earliest construction built in the 11th century to house royalty. In the valley, an elliptical great enclosure was added in the 14th and 15th centuries. Its outer wall, 304 yards long and 38 yards high, encircling the living quarters of up to 18,000 people. Its iconic conical tower may have been built to represent a grain store, a symbol of the ruler's duty to feed his people. Thatched, mud brick built cottages once covered the 3-square-mile site, inside and outside the walls. Visiting the city in 1531, Vicente Pegado, a Portuguese captain stationed at Sofala garrison on the coast, described a fortress built of stones of marvelous size. It says much about the nature of colonialist archaeology that 19th and early 20th century excavators attributed these magnificent structures to a much earlier Arab or Phoenician civilization. Cedar pillars at the site were assumed to be imports from Lebanon. More recently, radiocarbon samples have established that most of the city was constructed in medieval times from local materials. This city's decline. Great Zimbabwe's loss of status may have been brought about by over-farming to feed a large population and dwindling gold supplies. Centuries of colonization followed before the newly independent Zimbabwe took the old city's name in 1980. An image of one of the soapstone birds found at the site now appears on its flag. The goldsmiths of southern Africa. Archaeological evidence points to gold mining in southern Africa on an astonishing scale. In medieval times, people in the region are believed to have mined 43 million tons of gold ore and produced 700 tons of pure gold. In a hilltop burial site near the city of Mapungubwe, a similar center of power to Great Zimbabwe, several exquisite gold relics were recovered. Believed to be mere trinkets that survived hundreds of years of looting, they reveal the sophisticated techniques of southern African goldsmiths, burishing gold to increase its shine, and using hammers to beat gold into thin sheets. These were then used to plate metals such as iron and bronze and cover headrests, furniture, statues, battle axes, and arrowheads. Craftworkers also made gold ornaments and jewelry, drawing out gold wire to make chain links. The finest gold thread was woven in the cloth for elite members of the courts who wore damask, satin, and silk cloths, some decorated with woven gold roses.